Look at the title, Sculpted, Sculptor. What does sculptor go through? Look at the finest piece of sculpture in the history of mankind. Some of those have taken 30 years, 20 years. Some of them have cost that sculpture his marriage, his relationships, everything. His hands are bloodied and battered, but he's got a vision of what that piece of rock's going to look like. And I'm chiseling and it's going to come. It's fucking brutal. And we just unfortunately live in a world of quick fixes. And I don't judge anybody. It's not. I just feel sorry for the generation now because I've got 4 kids under the age of 11. And my biggest challenge, and my wife's biggest challenge, is making them realise how fucking hard everything is every single day. And I've already had it now, tears and pushback, and I don't give a shit. Keep crying. Like, I love you, but one day you're going to go out that front door and it's on you now. Are you ready? It's tough.
And he's here. He is here. Cristiano has entered the building. Welcome, wherever you are, to the Old Trafford Theatre.
Yes, guys, welcome back to today's episode of Sculpted. Today, we have an amazing guest. We have Drewe here. He is known as the Fear Coach on social media. He's got an amazing social media page. If you haven't seen it already, he's got an amazing app. He works with great footballers from all around the world, and it's an absolute honor for us to have him on today. So yeah, guys, get your notepads out, take notes, listen, and just learn, because seriously, Drewe has a lot of experience as a professional footballer himself. I've heard your story, Drewe. You know, your difficulties in life with football, everything like this. It's made you the man who you are today. And as we always kind of say in Sculpted, it's you're looking at the sculpture himself, right? He's gone through so much. He's chiseled away, and at the end of it, and I'm sure, Drewe, you're still progressing as a human being every day. But you can see in front of us, an amazing man. So, Drewe, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just listening to what you said, because it's amazing my job is to obviously coach, so I'm always listening, and that word sculpted and sculpture, and that took me back to the work of the great artists and the famous sculptor David, obviously in Rome. And do you know the story behind that story, where I think it was it famous artist Leonardo da Vinci, or when he was correct, and tried for days and years and nothing comes, and the whole idea of sculpted for me is to reveal and not to create. So once we know the process to reveal, then that's a game changer, and I think so. Just taking me off on a tangent there, because I just thought, wow, what a powerful word if we understand what it means. And it actually ties into all my work today, because you think all these young kids out there, blessed, we want to be a player or want to be a footballer or whatever they want to do. Very few have any idea of what that's going to look like emotionally. All I see when I go online is technical and physical reps by kids and TikTok and Instagram, and I just want to yell through a megaphone, like, you got no chance with it. I mean, that anyone can do that. Like, anyone can do that. Anyone can go, right, I'm going to get a load of cones and ladders, and I'm going to cut my diet, and I'm going to do these technical drills, and I'm going to do all this stuff. But there's millions doing that. And I get to work with lads at Champions League level, and we laugh, because they're like, you look down the tunnel, we've all trained the same. We've all done the same, we've trained the same, we've eaten the same. It's nonsense, really. I mean, once you get, the only difference is courage. Courage to remain, courage to be yourself, truly to be yourself over the white line. Like that, that's the number one thing. And it sounds so flippant and it sounds so easy, but simplicity is genius. Like, I'm not saying there's not a place for the technical and the tactical and the physical. Of course there is. But, I've got a son who's 4, and if he seems to want to play football, soccer, I mean, I play golf and tennis, so he'll do all that. But if he decides the football, then sure, we'll do a bunch of drills. But I'll only have one thing I'll be looking to create there, which is an absolute solid sense of self, meditation, ice work, prayer. He's going to know himself. Or it reminds me of a good friend of mine who's head of recruitment at a big European club, and he sat with Alf Inge Haaland and young Erling Haaland when he was 14, and he said to me, what was Haaland like, knowing what was coming back? He said, ignored me for about half an hour, was on his phone, looking up now and again, still haven't said anything that's worth his while. He's trying to sell it a little bit that you're trying to buy him at that age, or certainly be one of the front runners of the big European clubs at 14 to not interested in anything I had to say. No respect. But you wouldn't say he was rude. He just didn't listen to anything I had to say. Real strong sense of who he was. Come on then, mate, sitting opposite me in your 30s, head of recruitment at so-and-so, sell it to me, because I'm not buying into anything you see. You have to work damn hard to make me feel that the game's any more simple than my dad's made me believe it is, right? So I've gone off, but it's a subject that it's beyond the passion of mine. I live it. This weekend there was over a dozen guys I work with playing in the Championship, the Premier League, the Belgian First Premier League, the MLS. Like, it's all the same remit. Shut your ears, shut your eyes, center yourself, ignore most instructions you'll hear. Be yourself, have courage, give it away. Listen to all the voices, say quit, go under, this is bullshit. No one wants the point, no one even wants to be here. I don't want to be here. Listen to all the internal chatter and stay in the game, be you, have courage, and so it's, that's much of what I do.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool, the way you said it right there, you've just kept it so simple. It's a lot of things are overcomplicated sometimes, and you can let external things distract you. And what you've just said there is how everyone can do anything, right? And everyone is doing pretty much very similar stuff, and anyone can, run 10 kilometers. Some do it faster than others, but eventually over time, you could probably do the exact same thing. And I think that what we promote at Sculpted is also, doing the basics, but doing it consistently. And I think that today we're going to get such a great insight on a different perspective that maybe some of our listeners don't necessarily understand, or they're trying to do too much sometimes.
I think it's a great point, Nicholas. I think, and I will really try and make it understandable, because it is super simple. But there is a reason that suicide is the biggest killer of men under 40. There is a reason. That's not a coincidence. And for me, the link between that statistic and what it takes to make it as an athlete, same thing. I think there's so many young guys now who are growing up in this world struggling to grasp the real masculine instincts, the real what it takes. Because I think the world's gone so far the other way now that it's a very over-feminine view on what it takes to go and be a player. And with 3 daughters and a son, and being a real alpha male myself, and as a number 9 my whole life, like, I get it. I get the masculine side, ran that hard. I'm also super sensitive and get the feminine side, because that's what makes me a great coach. I'm highly emotionally intelligent, super self-aware, vulnerable, all that stuff. Cry at Lion King with my daughters, and I can go all of that. But I think for these young guys, there's such a complicated message out. And as a father, it hits me hard. And then I look at the 19-year-old, 18-year-old players at the heads of academy, right on the brink of so far away from the first, like really close. Speaking to a guy the other day I was working with who played 5-6 games for Leeds, 19, goes out on loan to get his career going to a big club, fuck, man. I mean, he's drowning in October. He's nowhere near it. I mean, seriously depressed already in his apartment. Cannot find the player he was 7 months. Yeah, seriously, sitting there and all that stuff. And it just allowed overthinking and overcomplication to steal everything. So you go back to, well, how did you get in? How did you get in Leeds United's team? The hell did you do to get? You don't just walk in there. Like in the Premier League, like, how the hell did you get in there? Well, I just played. I played all the way up. I did me. I was aggressive, and you know, I was all in on everything I did. And you're right. I never saw it as fear, but I just played. And then there was an injury, and I got an opportunity. And now it's like, don't mess up, don't do this, and play safe. And there's a lot of stake, and the internal dialogue from, you know, it just ramps up to a whole nother level. And I think hanging on to that basic element of who we are is the hardest thing to do in the world, Nicholas. It's the hardest thing to do. You know, and almost, you know, every night I sit with my kids in bed, or my son now, who's 4, and we do prayer, and I'm not affiliated to any particular religion, but I pray to the universe, and I have a huge sense of humility with that, as do all the best players in the world. So all these kids copying Kobe or Lionel Messi or Ronaldo, make damn sure you copy them emotionally, because if you look at them, the first thing they're doing in the morning is they're on their knees, praying, and after a goal they do this. Before a game, they ask for help. So, and then unless you go into understanding what that is, got no chance. Because all you'll do is copy them physically, mirror them technically. You're not looking at the number one component, emotionally and spiritual strength. And so with my son every night, what I'm trying to put into him is that always be yourself. What's going to happen for you as this life goes on is you will be challenged everywhere to conform, to toe the line, to play safe. Don't ever do that. So that's the prayer I'm doing every night. Does that have an effect by the time he's 12? I hope so, but you don't know.
Yeah, I think to our point before, where you were saying that everyone can do the training, you know, everyone can do these things, but the things that are neglected, which, like to what you were saying there, and I watched your video on the World Cup where everyone's pointing up to the sky, right? And you're saying that now this is the difference. These are the differences that can make or break players. And to your point, this is what people don't do. This is the work that people lack. And I believe that what you say in your message, people sometimes don't want to hear this. People would think that it's controversial, but it's just the way it is. Generally, it's the way it is. And
I'm very aware, you know, having played for 17 years as a pro. At 17, I scored on my debut at Wolves for Norwich City. I went with the England under-20s to the World Cup. Michael Owen in that squad of 26. I was in at a 3-year deal with Adidas. And within 18 months of that, you're there, man. Like, the next jump for me was a big money move to the Premier League. Like, just get your head down now in the first team for 18 months. Don't do any more than you've done for the last 10 years, because all I've done is average 30 goals a year from the age of 10 to 20. That's all I did. Just goals. Like, well, okay, keep doing that. Well, I didn't. I averaged 8 goals a season for the rest of my professional career. Tried everything. Striker coaches, nutritionists, body fat down at 7%. I was running 5Ks in under 17 minutes. Like, it's Switzerland every off season. I used to go for 3 weeks. Gym time, training 3 sessions a day, get my resting heart rate down to 30 beats a minute. Lived clean. Lived a clean life. Like, my best buddy, my whole playing career was at Arsenal. He was part of the Invincible squad. And they were ahead of the time at that time. Arsene Wenger was there. So I knew everything the best in the world would do. We were speaking every day after. So I knew exactly what the best in the world did. And they're not doing an awful lot. There was only one difference. They didn't cross the line and start to be... Sorry, I'm just recovering from a cough the kids are giving me. They didn't cross the white line and allow fear to steal who they were. They carried on the same risk they took in the park in front of 50,000 people. That's a game changer.
Yeah, I think what the episode about is what the episode today is about is fear, right? And it is the taking the step, right, of your example previously of the Leeds United player. You can do the exact same job in front of 100 people, one person, 10,000 people, 90,000 people, but you demanded the exact same thing, but how you actually act on that, how you perform, is only externally, like, it's just the things that are around you that are changing it, right? If you were to go pass a ball in front of one person and in front of 90,000 people, that pass stays the same. It's the exact same pass. But in front of one person, you might do a top job. In front of the 90,000 people, you might not even get contact with the ball. Like, it is fear.
Well, and here's the thing, that the amount of players I've sat with who sometimes it's taken 40 minutes in a one-on-one, whether it's live or on Zoom. Excuse me. And these are not young players. These are established players. Even the younger ones, they've played 100 games. They don't know what they're feeling as fear. If you ask them to label it, they wouldn't label it as fear. And in fact, you suggest that in, and it's everything they do is to get around that word. I'm excited. Yeah. Pressure. They use all these words. Whereas the emotion is fear. And you start to write it down. I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of being humiliated. I'm afraid of the end of my dreams. I'm afraid of money. I'm afraid of where will I go in this world if this dream crashes. I'm afraid of not scoring. I'm afraid of a clean sheet. I'm afraid of someone replacing me. I'm afraid of... Sorry, it's really windy here. I've got my TRX on the office window and it's smacking against the window. I'm still doing my upper body strength. But so I think, yeah, like people don't know it as fear. To start to sit in that, and this is not a quick fix. Like I get this, but just bringing up this whole subject and this whole conversation and making it understood that yes, you've got to do the physical, yes, you've got to do the technical, but everyone's doing that. I mean, honestly, if you went on TikTok now and I said you've got a week to find how many football influencers you can find, football young coaches doing technical, physical, and tactical, you millions. But I guarantee you this: if they jumped on a call with me and a player that I look after at Man United and we had a real round table chat, they'd go off with their heads absolutely scrambled, going, well, I don't understand. Like, these guys said that's all bullshit. Yeah, it is really, I think, because everyone's doing it. You got courage. Can you cross out there and go, give me the ball, I'll have it there. Give it away again, get it again, give it away again. Hear the shouts from people. Hear teammates going, oh, he's arrogant. Hear the staff going, you can't talk to him. You're going to have to go there. That's where Ronaldo goes, where Messi lives. You know, that's where Zlatan lives. Like the big dogs. Like, you know, it's super lonely. It will test you to the point of insanity. Mental health issues are coming. If you are pursuing your dreams, whatever your dreams are, I've got a daughter who wants to be a dancer. Fine, okay. Are you ready to have blisters all over your feet that they're pouring with blood? Are you ready to get judged, laughed at, mocked, shamed? Are you ready for all of that? Then I'm here to love you and help you. But if you want just this nice, let's look at Instagram for 5 minutes, and no. Right? So it's a journey of love, but it's a tough journey. And I just, yeah, in my experience, spent a lot of money on psychologists when I was a player. A lot of the players who come to me have full-time psychologists on the staff if they want to use them. They don't use them. Or they go one session and... Because they go, unless that person's been there, unless I can feel in my soul that he gets it, like he gets it. Well, what's that guy giving me? What do you get from that? More information, more thinking. Right, okay. You know, so I think there's a lot of jargon out there. There's a lot of noise. Visualization techniques, this technique, that technique. Cool, go and do it for a couple of years. Let me know how you get on. what I find the most fascinating thing you said here, Nicholas, is that people don't want to hear this stuff. And I'm very conscious. Sometimes I pinch myself to think of the success that I'm having. I go next month to work with another men's national team. I coach head coaches. I work with 3 head coaches privately, a number of players. But my stuff really flies in the face of everything that's out there. It challenges everything that's out there. And that, what's ironic is when I'm asking from the players, I'm asking from the same thing with myself. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Some days you wake up, think, fuck off, Drewe. No one wants to hear this shit. No one. Cool, keep doing it. You know, so it's I'm conscious that your audience or younger players, I've got to give you some practical tips for this stuff. And I think you should start to be aware of the word fear. I mean, watch Mike Tyson stuff, please. If your generation doesn't understand Mike Tyson, yeah, you need to understand Mike Tyson. Tyson Fury, Kobe. Kobe's message was off the scale. His stuff was Novak Djokovic. I saw a podcast with him last week saying that just before he goes out on court, now at 35 with half a $1 billion in the bank and 23 Grand Slams, he sits there in the locker room now before round 1, never mind the semi-finals, and has a feeling of nearly being paralyzed of fear. Don't even want to go out there. So it was the same feeling I had when I was 9 years of age with the racket, having today at 35. And I don't ever want that feeling to go. I know it's fear of failure. I have to sit with that feeling. And now I don't look to over control it. Don't foam roll for half an hour. Don't get my bands out and fire my glutes for 45 minutes. Just sit in it. And then go, okay, there's times out there where the forehand won't be good enough, the backhand won't be good enough, the serve won't be good enough. Stay in the game, keep doing it. Stay present, stay present, stay present. So the message is out there with the best in the world.
To your point before, when you were saying you were just naming the best players in the world, you said Messi, Ronaldo, Novak Djokovic, these people, you can notice one thing about them, and they're at the top, obviously, right? But you always hear these controversies about it. I know I saw what you said about Messi and the healthy disrespect in the World Cup. We've got Ronaldo, who's an arrogant person. We've got Novak Djokovic, who has controversies, and Tiger Woods with these scandals and everything like this. They're at the top for a reason. They're succeeding because they're different. They're doing something that no one else is doing.
They're only doing one thing. Well, no, they're doing... the difference is they do one thing. They're authentic. They have the courage to be authentic. So Novak Djokovic's instincts doesn't feel like taking a vaccine. So he doesn't take one. That's all. He just, I'm not feeling that. Think I'm being lied to. Won't take it. Fine. I don't judge that. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I just observe that and go, well, that's interesting. So when other players then have that doubt on the court, well, he doesn't have that doubt because he just stays true in that. Ronaldo. Yeah, Ronaldo. Yeah, Ronaldo. If you are going to try and humiliate me, I'll just walk it down the tunnel. Done, no problem. I'll just drive off while the game's still going on. And by the way, most footballers are really jealous of him doing that because they'd love to do that. Oh, it's easy when you're in that. That's why he's Ronaldo. Because at 18, there's a clip of him at 19 against Wigan, last minute. United are 1-0 down, ball gets manipulated on the edge, falls to him, bang, he hits it about 80 yards over the bar. Camera goes to, he's 19, 20 at the time at United in his first spell. Camera goes to the bench. Ferguson's going apeshit on the bench, spits his chewing gum out, nailing him, shouting, screaming, swearing at him. Camera goes back to a 20-year-old Ronaldo. He just looks like that, puts his shoulders down and goes, what? Shut up. 700 goals later, 17 years later, Ferguson's there, bit older man now, waiting on the steps of the Champions League final just to touch the man. If at that point he gets his head down and goes, oh, poor bad me, what a naughty boy for shooting, you never get ever get anywhere near it. So it's the problem with kids in academies. You get told something and you start going under, and you hear it, oh, you're too aggressive, you do this, you don't do that, you've got to do this, you've got to improve that. You know, I coached over 200 coaches, 180 coaches have come. I'm just running my coach education at the moment over 8 weeks, and I've got head coaches and young coaches, academy coaches on there, and you know, they're starting to realize now, we're 3 weeks in, that I'm killing players. Yes, you are. You're killing players. You know, because you're not really guiding them on what they need to stay whole, to stay courageous.
Do you think that's a natural thing that comes to people instinctively, that ability to express yourself, and it kind of gets trained out of you almost? It's something that I think.
Well, I think it has to get trained. I think if you're a strong character, if you're showing that you've got a strong sense of self, sense of who you are, then you're going to have a very emotionally, spiritually enlightened coach to go, no problem. I've had coaches ring me, said, Drew, I know all your stuff, but what do I do with this? I said, tell me. Well, on the training ground today, one of the guys who's out of the team at the moment, a young guy went past him on the outside, he grips him in a headlock, throws him to the floor. I mean, enough's enough. So I'm just listening. Cool. What do you do? Well, I'm going to get him in, I'm going to nail him, I'm going to suspend him. And I said, you never grabbed anyone in a headlock? Coach, what? I said, have you ever wanted to get anyone in a headlock? Anybody? In the street, on the pitch, anything, anywhere? Well, actually, when I was a kid, I got sent off for punching someone. Okay. Where's that guy gone? So I'm like, how can you not understand that? He's out of the team. He's angry. He's pissed off. Full of pressure. He's looking at this training session like a cup final to get back in the team. No problem. No problem. But you take him away off site and you put an arm around him. You say, I get it all. I'm not judging you. There's no problem here. Like, can I help you? Because you're trying to deal with this pressure and you're trying to convince me, get me back in the team and relax. I've got to pick the team. I've gone with the other guy. The guys are winning. I know you fucking hate me right now. That's okay as well. So these coaches, so the instinct is to quit. We got to nip that in the bud. We got to stop that. We can't have that behavior. But it's the same guy who's doing a dribble every time. Stop taking those risks. You know, hitting the passes. Stop taking the. Speaking to a fullback recently at Arsenal with it under 23s, and he was saying to me, he's working on decision making. I said, who's told you you've got to do that? He said, the club. He said, I feel that's got out of my game. When I get to the halfway line, it's like we're working on these 3 or 4 options I've got. I said, what did you do when you were 14? So I used to get to the halfway and just keep fucking going. I'd end up on the edge of the box, bouncing 1-2s and shooting. Right. Did you do loads of drills then? No. What are you doing in these drills then? Well, can't you pass the ball? Yeah, I can pass it. Can you run? Yeah, I can run. It's mind blowing, right? Mind blowing. I said, that's just fear. Because you're 20, it's on the line, you need to play well, contract, 2 guys on the bench, you've got to keep them out of the team. That's just fear. The guy who gets to the halfway line with chewing gum in his mouth, and I don't give a fuck. Now you're Neymar, now you're Ronaldinho, now you're Jude Bellingham at the moment. Greenish. Foden. Million Fodens out there. I made that statement. Has to be. There's billions of humans on this planet. You're telling me there's not other kids in the world who can carry the ball like Phil Foden can? Of course there is. But I bet they stop doing it if they get to 16, 17, 18, 19.
Yeah, I think that from what we've said now, it's obvious that everyone has the ability. You know, it's everyone, as we've been saying the whole time, everyone can train a certain amount. But the things that differentiate the people from the best and the average, or not even creating a career from professional football. I mean, a good anecdote, as you said for yourself, is how you were on the. Your next step was to break into the Premier League. You're with the under-20s England national team, right? And it's the next step. But for so many people, they just kind of stop, and it's not necessarily the ability to take the next step. It's from within, and they just fear just the consequence. The fear stops them. I don't know if you've heard of the term playing with the shackles, but literally players are playing with the shackles week in, week out. And I think that's something that is quite evident is through the age of, let's say, 15 to about 19, a lot of players are able to actually make their debut, maybe get 6-7 games at a top Premier League team, but then 5 years later, they're back playing, the 2 leagues below or something like that. They're almost going down completely. Where, I mean, even in the current team that I play in, I can see that there's players who were top players when they were younger, and they were better teams 3-4 years ago, playing more minutes than they are now. And this is something that blows my mind, because I could only assume they're probably better players than they were before, but something's stopping them, and that it's actually affecting them so much that they've gone down levels. And I think to my next point, it would be, Drew, how do we actually attack this? Because this is something so prevalent in sports everywhere. Like, it is.
Well, look, man, I mean, how do you attack it? Well, that was a decision I made 3 years ago when I started writing education. So the only way you attack it is to affect the coaches long term, to affect the meshing on. But you're talking about a 20, 30 year thing. Before you might even go to 5% shift. I mean, all the current mental health nonsense that's talked, a lot of it is nonsense. All I'm hearing is about plan Bs and backup plans and how do we deal with the kids who get released at 18. Like, I understand. I get that is something, right? The clubs could be better in that area. My point is, I think 75, maybe higher, 75% of those players who were at that point getting released, because they get released because of fear. They're not getting released because they're not good enough. And no one in the club has gone, yeah, it's fear that's got you, and that's our fault. Sorry, we haven't given you to that for the last 6 years, and going to now shake your hand and let you go. Right, so it only changes by education. Is anybody tackling the education the way I am? No. I've just co-written a degree-level leadership course for our union in England, the Professional Football Association. So that launches later this year. It's with the head sports psychologist, Tim Harkness at Chelsea. So we've written that for all members of the PFA, players who are coming to the end of their career, current coaches. But how we actually affect the players, well, I'm trying the best I can with the app, and I've just written a course which should go online in the next 4 weeks. It's eight modules, 16 hours of learning, videos, questions, examples of all of these subjects: fear, healthy disrespect, walking the line, all of these subjects. And I'm just going to put that online so guys can do it in their own time. It's the only way. It's the only way, because you can speak to, you could go on and you could record with 30 sports psychologists. And in my experience, having worked with a lot of them and given them a lot of money, I'd come away from all of those sessions going, that was really good. That was awesome. And someone would go to me, what was that session like? Really good. Cool. Week later, I'm fucked again. Okay. Got another session. Learn some more stuff. Okay. How do you action it? What's really going on? Right? It's like, what's really going on? Do these psychologists actually understand what the coaches are saying? Do these psychologists understand that you're sitting there before a game and you've been told as a centre-half, don't take risks? Yet what you are is a risk-taking centre-half. You're a winger who's told, we want you to play inside and go off the lines. Okay. Does that mean that when you see an opportunity to go on the outside, you're not going to go? Probably does. All going inside. Rather than going, no problem, coach. Got it, no problem, fuck off. I'm going to go exactly where I want to go. It's only where I want to go. I'm going to work my socks off, going to leave it all out there. You have to. That's another thing. Youngsters' work ethic don't often understand what that is. But that's another thing. But you're going to go, I'm going to go my way. But I'm going all in my way.
Yeah, I think something that I've talked about previously, I'm pretty black and white when it comes to things. And I I've actually spoken to I think I've had maybe 3-4 sports psychologists. I've had probably 2 with like 2 meetings with them each time, and I've kind of binned it because I was actually doing this through the Australian PFA, and I actually just found I scheduled one meeting, and then there's one meeting. By the time I actually had the meeting, I'd already figured out the issue. I realized that I wasn't enjoying my football. I was just being too focused for games, and I ended up making too many mistakes. I put way too much pressure to perform. I realized that the way I need to play is by having fun, and that's what works for me, and I found that out. And then I was with the sports psychologist speaking about it, and I just realized that I just figured it out myself. Now we're just having a good chat. And this is a common theme for me with most sports psychologists that I've worked one-on-one with. And yeah, I think that...
But if you're having fun, like, even you say all I need to do is have fun, is it that easy? Fucking hell. If I said to you, right, just have fun now for the next 10 years, you'll be good, you'll be international with that.
Yeah.
How do you stay that? How do you stay in that mental state?
I mean, if you try and progress in front of 90,000 people, it gets harder and harder to have...
Forget even 90,000 people, because that's the summit of the game. How many stadiums have not? There's only Bernabeu, Wembley have 90,000. Not even Old Trafford has that. But let's just take you're in the under 23s trying to get a contract, trying to get in the first team. You've got 5 internationals ahead of you. He's just gonna. How do you just have fun?
Not easy to do, and that might not even be the right way for me to do it in the future either. Because what might work now might not work later.
I think the only way is to find a place of love and enjoyment the way we had as kids. That is the only place. Of course it is. The best all show us that. It's why in the tunnel before big games you'll see the best players very relaxed, talking to the teammates, leaning across, little cuddle with one of the guys who might be an international, and that it's all super relaxed, the top players. As you start to go down, you see how tense the other guys are. Going to war, you're not. You're just playing a football game with your buddies. So what's convinced you're going to war? That's all your internal chat. Maybe some coaches, and this is so important. What I'm saying is, yeah, of course it's important. It has to be important. It has to be life and death, because it's your dreams on the line here. You're only going to get one shot. Like, it's important, really important. How do you take that seriousness, take the fear that comes with it, and now step into slowly letting go, surrendering to the pressure, and finding a place of gratitude so fun may just about come in. Because just to say, just have fun, and yeah, well, 600 professional games didn't fucking work for me. I mean, speak to a lot of guys today who love to just have fun. I think you can only get to a place of enjoyment once you go into the fear. It's Jordan Peterson who says, what you most want to find will be where you least want to look. Which is why I guess my stuff, you said they don't want to go there. So you don't want to go into the place that is the answer for what you want to find.
I'm saying, especially today, honestly, it's crazy to see that people don't want to hear these truths. I mean, the reason why Jordan Peterson is getting all this negativity around him, I think it's crazy. I think Jordan Peterson is just saying things how it is when it comes to the mental side, and it's exactly true. Like, this is...
But here's a line that someone gave me years ago. At the end of my playing career, I was 33 and I was washed up in a rehab clinic, and but I was still fighting. Like, I know the way back. I just need to get fit again. I just need to... What it is a goal scorer of another season. And this very wise person said to me, Drew, I don't give a shit if you follow some simple universal laws that have been there for thousands of years. I don't care. My life doesn't change. Yours does. And that hit me at that point, because guarantee you this, people go on their way without investigating this deep emotional side of human performance. No chance. You'll get the odd one comes through. because some guys are not that intelligent, right? They're not that sensitive, not that, they're not overthinkers. So you get them, they'll just go through. But I've met a lot of those guys, and some of them very rich at the end of their career. You wouldn't want to be that guy. The people in his life who love him, if they've gone, money, still got some, but you hurt a lot of people because that's ego. You have to strut through life going, fuck everyone. It's about me. I'm just going to get there however I get there. You get those guys. You get them. You wouldn't want to be that guy. At the end, mid-30s, you would not want to be that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think back to one of the previous points, even it's saying that you have to go every decision 100%, because something that I believe in is you have to make the mistakes to know that something's wrong, to realize that something else is right. And I think that to a point with fear, right? If you're getting the coach's external, pass to the left centre back and then receive on the inside, something like this, and then you're thinking in your head, no, I'm just going to do it this way. Some people might go 50-50. They might hesitate. They might play the left centre back, and all of a sudden they've completely stuffed up and it's a goal. But if they go 100%, and let's say it's the wrong decision, and it is a goal, well, at least now they know that that's not the right thing to do. And I think that's in all aspects of life, that we take that accountability for doing something at 100% conviction.
But I think what doesn't happen, because you're spot on, has that person been emotionally prepared for what that looks like?
Definitely depends on the person.
What are you emotionally prepared for that? Because if you're going to go your way, get ready for that. It's gonna be hell on earth for you.
Yeah, and you can easily get stomped on by other people. And I think that's where the healthy disrespect comes from, because you have to be able to take everything that comes with making the wrong decision and not being stepped on by everyone, because everyone will see if you're a supposed weak person, you'll get stepped on by everyone. And that's just a pre-narrative that people are going to have. They're going to be able to step on you more and more. And I love your point of the healthy disrespect, right? That's something that I really need to work on, because if you don't have it, you're going to allow people to step on you.
And we have to be clear about what healthy disrespect is, right? So if we go like complete disrespect at one end of the scale is, I'm not going to listen to any traffic laws. I'm going to drive at 300. I'm going to do literally extreme, right? No respect for human life. You're almost in psychopath here, right? Which is not. The other end of the scale is, just like completely passive, like a leaf blowing through the air, and you can say what you want to me, do what you want. I mean, that's not it either. We're talking about this middle line, which is high performance, which is why one of my modules in my mental athlete preparation course is called Walking the Line, because you have to walk the line. And healthy disrespect, it's like I was sitting in London for a meeting last week, and we had a corner area. There's two of us in a meeting. There's a couple of chairs spare. A lady comes over. She goes, "Oh, do you mind if I sit on that chair there? Because you've got a plug for the laptops there." I said, "No, I'd rather you didn't sit on that chair." I said, "I'm in a meeting. Is that okay?" And looked her in the eyes. Went, "Oh, okay." We carried on the meeting. About 20 minutes later, another woman comes. She goes, Can I sit there?" And starts pulling the chair out. So I plugged the laptop in. I said, "Look, I've got no problem you sitting there. They're not my chairs. I swear an awful lot. We're in the middle of a conversation where there's a lot of swearing going on. If you're offended by that, or if you're about to do a Zoom that's really important in your life, you probably don't want to sit up there. But it's on you." She actually laughed and went, "Well, fuck you." Right, brilliant, actually. She put her chair there and she was on her laptop, whatever. But my buddy went to me after. He goes, "Fucking hell." I said, see, I can't do that. I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, like that honest, that direct." I said, "But you weren't offensive at all. You were just, like, even saying it, you didn't raise your voice. There was nothing." I said, "No, because it was my truth. It's just my truth. You can do what you want with it, really, but that's what it is." So it's healthy disrespect. It's like whereas over respect, so yeah, just sit there, no problem. Oh yeah, no problem. But then I've just cost myself, really, because I'm now in my meeting constantly thinking about a decision I walked away from because I might have some confrontation. So we have to learn how to navigate this. And for the young footballers, your only battle is hanging on to who you are. Hardest thing in the world. Hardest thing in the world. You know, I've sat with guys on 180 grand a week who are playing well within themselves and in a lot of pain because of it. And people go, what are you talking about? There's no pain when you're on that much money. When you've got no money, some money would be like, yeah, it'd be amazing. When you get that much money, it's fucking irrelevant. Like, what? You're just sitting in a house and your sofa is worth 60 grand and my sofa is worth $600. Like, what? It doesn't, nothing changes. You've got to go over a white line on a piece of grass, which has been the same size from the age of 8. Nothing changed. In fact, now it's all changed because you get paid a lot of money. So that means people are going to come for you and they're going to judge you and critique you. And there's 3 guys waiting to take your shirt with and these guys, they all play safe. Fear's got them. And they're playing sideways. Rashford for the last 2 years. Jadon Sancho currently.
Yeah. I think your example that you had with the ladies, I think that's genuinely the perfect example because, you know, you have found the complete, you know, you said you're walking the line. You weren't disrespectful to her, but you also didn't allow yourself to compromise for her because you have put yourself at a worse position, right? If you were to do that in football and you're going to allow someone else to, let's say, take your spot, you're okay with that? You're accepting that? No, you actually kind of have to show that you're going to give a bit of, in this case, you're going to show it on the field.
Yeah, so I think a football example of that, take me as a number 9, right? So many times as a professional player, I will be told in the locker room in front of the whole group, just before you go out there, Drew, don't go giving silly free kicks away. Don't look to fight the centre halves. Just play your game. Nothing stupid, right? I'd go and listen, and then there'd be a little bit of doubt. Okay, well, no fouls. So you're half in. Centre half wins the ball in the air or steals it off your foot, and you're getting shouts. Come on, get going from the touch. Okay, and then half time you get called in. You've not won a header. You've got 10 minutes. You're getting okay. 10 minutes later, I find myself on the bench. Never realising as a pro player, never really understanding what happened. Never understand it. That in that moment before the game where he goes, the head coach, nothing stupid today, no free kicks. Not being able to be aware, going, that's his shit. He's just trying to minimise the game. And just going, okay, yeah, no problem, boss. And in my head going, fuck off. I'm just going to go and put me on that pitch. If I give away free kicks, if I get a red card, take that, no problem. But if I don't go all in, now I'm all in, I'm half in the air. Whereas if I'm all in, I'm going to win that ball. I'm going to bounce him off and get it into my feet and turn. And, well, I'm not. I'm half it. No mistakes. Don't give away free. It's all fear. Now working with head coaches, I'll listen to their team talks sometimes. And we go through them. What do you think? Okay. Like, in that bit there, you're putting fear into people. No, I just said. And then you sit with the head coach and you get him to make a list of his fears. Terrified. 3 games, getting a sack. What happens if my number 2 is commuting from so-and-so? He's got a wife and kids. My staff. You know, I'm desperate to get a better coach's job. We need to win. We need to be in the top 6. Like, so, not processed any of that. Just gets his tactics and shape work and training's great all week. Okay. You've not fucking dealt with the emotional side. Whereas you look at Arteta, you look at Pep, you look at Klopp, very, very emotional. But this emotional side is not just sitting here going, oh yeah, let's talk about feelings. Yeah, we're going to talk about feelings. But you're then going to, like, what's your side of the bargain? Like with my kids, if they tell me I want to be a dancer or a footballer, go back to it. Are you ready to run till you cannot breathe? Because the amount of young players I see I sat with them. Yeah, I work hard. Do you? Yeah. And then you go through their clips, you're like, no. Oh, what do you mean? Then you send them clips of Man City or you marry it up against... They're like, oh. Just the way those top players press you is ridiculous. Jurgen Klopp said to a player I was working with 6 years ago, it was in Klopp's first year at Liverpool. This young player had just broken into the team. It was about when Alexander-Arnold was coming in. And he was doing really well in the under-23s. And I said, go and see the manager. Ask him what more he needs to do to get any kind of opportunity. So Klopp says to him, the best players in the world head with pain, tackle with pain, pass with pain, shoot with pain. Everything the best players do is with pain. And I look at you and think, have you had enough pain? Now, I love that. He rings me after. He needs a training ground. I said, he's world class. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, he's right. Like, are you passing that ball like your life depends on it? Are you really sprinting? Are you really demanding the ball? Or are you going, I'll have it? Like, what's the pain behind that? How much do you want it? Because if you want it that much, you're all in. And I think you've been allowed to go through the system because you're talented with the ball. And now you're working for one of the best coaches in history. And he's like, not in my team. You've got to run till you can barely breathe. Then you can do something with the ball. And Pep's the same. Diego Simeone's the same. A Real Madrid team does that. But I just feel sorry for, again, all these young players. They don't know what hard work is. And they don't think it's that important. It's almost like boxing. They work hard. Yeah. Next. Whoa. Let's chunk that down. What does that look like for you in your position every single day? What does that look like? What does that feel like?
Something that we were talking about just before, how we were talking about, kind of finding and accepting the fear, but then also having these things where you really, really have to the point just then, we really actually have to, everything is charged with, the pain, the suffering, all these things. The people say they work hard, right? Everyone works hard. Everyone can give a bit, it's seen as hard work. But the things, the pain, the things that we're just saying then, how do we tie these two things together? Because sometimes they can even be counterproductive. And for someone who's, listening right now, they might be hearing this thing and this thing and this thing and...
Well, I totally agree. The conversation. This stuff's not easy. And you can't... I do a bunch of talks and all you're talking about is highlighting all these issues. The solutions. I mean, that's the work that I do. That's whether it's my education or whether it's my one-to-one stuff, where you take someone on I don't ever start a one-to-one journey for under 12 weeks. It's 12 weeks before we even, and you'll get beaten up by me for 12 weeks. Like, you're having the right questions every week. Fear, vulnerability, desire. Like, you're going to have to, anyone who's got super fit and strengthened themselves up knows how painful that is. It's really tough. To get super fit is tough. Discipline with your nutrition. You've got to graft and lift and all this stuff. Like, it's the same emotionally. Emotional fitness is tough. So how you marry all this stuff, it's not a one conversation thing. But to highlight these issues and know, okay, fear is an issue. Selling out on myself is an issue. Who am I? Why have I sold out on myself? Like, these questions are introspective. And the reason I have this, which has become my mantra for living, the last week of any of my education, there's at least 3 head coaches this weekend at press conferences using this. Sweat and courage from the guys. Yeah. Because that's all you've got. Once you go, okay, I'm all into this. I want to be a player. I understand people are going to try and steal my authentic self. I understand that everyone's going to try and improve me. Going back to the sculptor is to reveal yourself, not to improve. Any coach who said they can improve you, okay, well, technically, okay, maybe, if you're really at the start of your journey. Once you get to 18 or 19, what can really be improved? You're just looking to reveal yourself constantly. Who are you? Hiding under that mask, the fear of failing, the big mask of I'm cool. Who's under there? Reveal it. Scared little boy? Okay, come and sit here. Me too, I'm fucking terrified. Let's work with that fear. Get you crossing the white line with that fear as your best friend sitting next to you, talking to you. So constantly looking to reveal the truth to yourself and then step into it. And it's really hard to do. In no way is any of this stuff to replace technical or physical. Of course it's not. It's ridiculous. You need those things. But all I see, to go back to the message, is just drilling down on technical, drilling down. And then it's like, let's talk about mental strength. And there's all quotes everywhere. All I read's quotes. Okay. What's a quote going to do when I'm fucked? 10 minutes into the game and I'm giving the ball away every 2 minutes and I'm getting tapped. Remember that quote on Instagram? Yeah. How's that working out? Doing nothing for me. Right. So, you know, it's a deep dive into self. It's a deep dive into fear. And
what you were saying previously just then with the 12 weeks, right? This is it. When you look at someone who's shredded, they've gone through so much pain. You have to go through this. This isn't necessary. You don't just get something you don't just get given stuff because it's a participation award, right? You actually have to go through things to learn things.
Excuse me. Look at the title, Sculpted, Sculptor. What does sculptor go through? Look at the finest piece of sculpture in the history of mankind. Some of those have taken 30 years, 20 years. Some of them have cost that sculpture his marriage, his relationships, everything. His hands are bloodied and battered, but he's got a vision of what that piece of rock's going to look like. And I'm chiseling and it's going to come. It's fucking brutal. And we just unfortunately live in a world of quick fixes. And I don't judge anybody. It's not. I just feel sorry for the generation now because I've got 4 kids under the age of 11. And my biggest challenge, and my wife's biggest challenge, is making them realise how fucking hard everything is every single day. And I've already had it now, tears and pushback, and I don't give a shit. Keep crying. Like, I love you, but one day you're going to go out that front door and it's on you now. Are you ready? It's tough. It's suffering. It shouldn't be easy. Like, if you've got a dream and you're putting it out there, like, I want to achieve this or I want to play, the minute you put that out there to yourself, I'm not talking about shouting it, but the minute you admit to yourself, that's what I want to do. You've opened the door to all the demons in the world are coming in now. They're going to sit on your shoulder every day, comparing with everyone, back on the phone, watch it, fuck it. We wonder why there's mental health issues. But to finish on this, what's happened in this mental health movement is that because it's so drastic, I think there's a big movement of people trying to minimize it. So it's like, oh, we don't want you feeling like that. My point is, no, that's exactly how you should feel. If you're looking to pursue a dream that the 0.1% want, that's exactly how you should feel every day. Now we're going to educate the poor kids on some tools how to manage that, how to get through it. It's the tools that aren't available. One of the modules in my course or the end is the emotional toolkit. Like, what tools are you going to use to manage this burning desire to be successful?
With the toolkit, it's the action, right? I mean, we've said it time and time again. The people can do everything, but who's taking action? Like, I know for me, for example, I had to build up my own toolkit to build self-awareness, to realize, my thoughts. My thoughts don't have to dictate what I do. I can do whatever I want, and my thoughts are just thoughts. Just because I'm thinking, oh, okay, I could turn my head to the left. Well, I'm looking at you right now, but my brain's telling me to do this, but I'm doing this right now. This doesn't come naturally. I have to take action on this. This is something that I had to realize over time, and this was because of some previous thing that I had to learn, and it came through difficulties and struggles. And sometimes people just want to say, no, don't go through those hard times. But I think it's embrace those hard times, learn from those hard times. You have to go through them to come out as a better person.
I mean, I look to suffer every single day now to go. If I'm not suffering, then I know I'm very close to fear coming back into the room and make fear of my future, family, mortgages, desires for work, 3 companies. Like, I can carry all that if I want, that pressure every day. But I seek suffering. I've got my ice tub, which I go sit in. I was in there this morning for 10 minutes. I write on my fear every day. I write gratitude most days, 5 days a week. And if I'm not doing it, good. I've had a recent spell with 2 weeks when I didn't do anything because I was super busy with family and work. Who pays the price? Me. I start to be a bit more fearful, a bit more anxious. Starting to look to know what's going to happen. Scrolling. I'm in, and I watch myself go, yeah. How lazy have you been? Super lazy. Get back to it. Well, I've got kids. They get up at 6:30. Could get up at 5, which is what I do most of the time. My wife needs help in the morning with the kids. Cool. What time do you need help from, hon? 6:30. Get up at 5 then. Get up at 10 to 5. I don't have a choice. And there's some tools I look for every day, which is to write my fear. Meditation, but not doing meditation for meditation's sake. Like, why am I looking to meditate? I'm looking to meditate because my head is relentless. And my head is constantly... Like, meditation is a great tool for me to quieten this down, get into the breath, be silent, be still. Again, I think I'll just do meditation. Just do some ice water. That's not about that. Why are you doing it? What's Jurgen Klopp? What's the pain going to make you going to go and do this? Well, the pain is, if I don't keep myself in a level spiritual and emotional condition, never going to fulfill who I am. Never going to give my kids the energy they need. Never going to give my wife the energy. Never going to achieve. So there's at that point, no choice.
Drew, what you've said this whole recording so far, it's been absolutely amazing. And I think that from hearing you and hearing what you've gone through with the players that you've got as well, we've got so many anecdotes of so much experience. And I think that the listeners today, we can all take away the fear and we need to confront it, because it's so many people just, as you were saying before, even the coaches, they don't even recognize it. It's something
Players don't recognize it. Coaches, like, sometimes you just think, here we all are as pathetically weak and insignificant little human beings, 10 billion or whatever is on the planet, hurtling through space on this planet at 15,000 miles an hour, thinking we know shit. It's fucking brilliant. We know shit about anything. Like, we are so weak and insignificant. But inside of that acceptance is a lot of power. Okay, I'm weak and insignificant. What does that leave me with? Heartbeat? Some oxygen? Go all in then. And then whenever you read, it's like, let's just all get round and say we're fucking terrified about everything. I'm terrified about everything. This morning in my fear list, nuclear war, situation in Ukraine, rising prices, digital currency coming in, corrupt governments, then my companies, then family fear. There was like 10, 12 things on that list. Sitting in all of that, feeling it all. Slowly letting it go with the tools. Finish with a run, body weight, press ups, get in the ice. Let's go. 6:30 a.m. I've dealt with it.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I think it's amazing to hear that you've got the tools, right? You've dealt with it. It's the action execution. People don't do this stuff. And this takes me to the final wrap-up question for today's episode. So the 3 ways that you sculpt yourself. And now, I think you've already kind of said all of the 3. But if you can wrap that up for us and go into... We don't have to go into too much detail because I'm aware of the time. But the main...
Okay, it's just come to me. I was just thinking there, letting it hit me. I had it with a golfer recently. He's playing on the DP Tour. He lives in Dubai. Off-season was in January, so we were speaking in December. He said, Drewe, so I know you weren't a professional golfer, but how would you manage an off-season for a professional golfer? Like, you had off-season as a footballer. I said, well, I'll tell you what not to do. He said, what's that? I said, work like an absolute lunatic that everyone will tell you that you should do in your off-season. So he starts laughing. I said, look how well you finished the season. Look at your last 4 months. Look at your average score of 68.9. Like, you're doing well. You're doing really, really well. You got 6 weeks off now. Chill the fuck out. You've got 3 things that make you up as a human being: the brain, mind, the body, and the spirit, emotions, feelings. So work on all 3 every day. Don't go and lock yourself in an oxygen chamber for 6 hours and then run the Nevada desert for 16 hours. Forget all that extreme shit. Get up. Do some emotional, spiritual work for an hour. That's Kobe. That's Ronaldo. That's the big boys. Do that. Train. You need to be fit. Train. Do something. Run. Lift weights. Do something. And then technically, you need to hit balls. You're a golfer. Keep your tools sharp. How old are you? 26. When did you hit your first golf ball? 6. 20 years of hitting golf balls. You know, at the highest level, I think you know how to hit a golf ball. I think you're good. Right? Like, nothing to find here. The extra 2% swing speed. No. Free yourself up. Get level. Be in a great place. Look at your average score the last 4 months. Tell me the swing speed training you did. Fuck it. I stopped doing everything. I started having a little cigarette and good, why not? If you like smoking, smoke. I mean, I don't like smoking, but if you want to smoke, I don't care. Do what you want. But so I just think sculpting, like, just human beings, mind, body, soul. Like, do something for all 3. The mind is not too much of a problem. My mind's working all day, solutions and problems. And that's going to be tested. If you're at school, college, your mind will be tested. Football, it'll be tested technically and you're thinking all the time. Physically, you're getting your work. Spiritually, what are you doing emotionally? And so, and I don't mean religion. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about spirituality, our spirit. It's all right for you to go, everyone to go, oh yeah, Leicester City had a great team spirit. Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah, I don't want to talk about you just use the word team spirit. Yeah, but I just meant they ran for each other. Well, why did you use the word spirit then? I had this argument. Because that's what you say. So what does it mean? It means a deep sense, a deep feeling. Emotionally, that guy's going to run for you, and the manager's brought all that together, this collection of humans, and it's fucking deep. So, yeah, I'll finish on that. Mind, body, spirit, just do some shit on that every day.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. It's simple, right? You can control every one of these aspects, and I think, Drew, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. I love the way that you can challenge everything, right? You've got so much information. You've got so many anecdotes, the experience you have, the wisdom you have. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on today. And I hope that everyone at home listening can take away so many things from today. I'll write up a few summaries on Instagram for everyone, and we'll have some short clips for everyone to really, get everything out of this episode today, because genuinely it's been great to have you, Drew, and I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for your time, buddy. Good talking.
Thank you so much.
Take care, mate.